Hey everybody, this is Andrew here at Tower, and today we are going to be talking about the Lectric Experience folding bike and the maintenance that you may see down the line on this bike. I myself, I work here at the Tower e-bike service center with our head tech Ray, and we see a lot of e-bikes come through here from a lot of different brands. We've had quite a few electric come through here, and so we just want to talk about some things that we would usually see these sorts of bikes, common ailments. If you're looking to ride this bike, things that you may want to think about or be aware of further down the line. So on these, particularly the electric folding bikes kind of in general, but this one in particular, is the brake pads are going to be the thing you're going to have to be the most aware of. So if we look down at the left side of the fork, we see we have our Tektro mechanical disc brake here, which is it's a fantastic brake, gives good stopping power, but like all e-bikes, they're a little bit heavier, they travel at faster speeds. They do tend to eat through those brake pads a little bit faster than a normal bike. And when it comes to mechanical brakes, because that piston's only being pushed in from one side, you have to constantly adjust these to make sure you have proper lever pull on them. You don't want to make sure that it's way too far, that when you pull this, you're pulling all the way to the handle and then getting no braking power. So you will have to adjust up these brakes as you ride, probably on a monthly basis, I'd say, but it's going to depend how much you ride. To do that adjustment, we will both hit the barrel adjuster right here to add a little bit more artificial tension. And then if we come around to the inside of the brake caliper, we can also see the silver inner pad adjustment. The inner pad adjustment is what you're going to hit most of the time, because that's going to bring that inner brake pad closer to the rotor, decreasing the amount of space and the amount of pull that you're going to have to stop the bike. So that's going to be the most common thing you are going to find having to maintain on this bike. But that's, again, pretty common across most e-bikes, especially ones with these bigger tires. They travel fast, require a bit more to brake. If we swing over to the rear of the bike, one of the other things we see pretty commonly, and again, it's not just on this electric bike in particular, but a lot of these fat tire folding bikes, is they tend to get flats primarily on the rear much more frequently. Again, that's just due to the heavier weight of the bike. It's almost all centered in the rear with this hub motor. You're also sitting on it. And these fatter tires tend to run at a little bit lower pressure, usually around 30 PSI. And a lower tire pressure does make you a little more prone to get punctures and things like that. Now, I'd say the one downside is these fatter sized tubes are a little bit more expensive than your average bicycle tube. Your average bicycle tube is usually going to run you somewhere between $7 to $10. One of these fatter tire tubes usually runs you closer to like 18 to 25 a tube. So definitely something to consider. You're going to need to supply tubes, repair flats on the road, definitely something to think about. One of the other things we see, not as common, but it does pop up from time to time, is this is not a rust-proof chain. So if you do live somewhere where it's, kind of near the ocean, where you have a lot of salty air, you may notice that this chain might get a little rusty on you. So if you do live near the ocean, you may want to consider switching to a rust-proof chain. That's more or less most of the common issues that would pop up on this bike. Of course, like any bicycle, you should always make sure that it's safe to ride before you hop on. Keep your drivetrain nice and clean. Re-lubricate it, usually about once a week, once every other week, depending on how much you ride. Make sure all the bolts and everything are nice and tight. Torque to the spec. Which does bring me to my next point, and that is, luckily Lectric gives you a lot of great information inside of their manual. And actually, if we open it up, page 5 and 6 in particular, if we look here, it actually gives you maintenance tips. So we have sort of best practices on how to, just riding day to day, what you should do after 100 miles, every 250 miles, and then every 1,500 miles. So gives you a lot of great information here, gives you a lot of great tips, how to make sure your bike's tight. So Lectric gives you a lot of great information inside this manual for your bike. And that is about everything that you can, expect to be working on with your Lectric Experience folding bike. Thanks for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day.